Welcome back to Bowl Banter. Today we're going to be discussing our thoughts on the T20 World Cup so far. We're going to be talking about a lots of things, but before we get started, make sure you're subscribed and you like the video if you're enjoying our content. But without further ado, let's get started. Arijit, what have you made of the World Cup so far? Are you enjoying it or not?
I mean, I don't know if I'm really enjoying this World Cup as much as I thought I would. The I don't know, like these pitches, like they're complete contrasting to the IPL pitches, which were like high scoring pitches, while these ones are like low scoring and it's like I don't know, teams are getting out for like below 100. Like Uganda yesterday, 39 runs all out. What about you?
I think that it's been a very interesting one so far because we've seen lots and lots of low scoring games as you've mentioned, and we've also seen a variety of different types of pitches, some of which I think have been like very substandard quality considering it's a world event, so I would be expecting more. But we've also seen a couple of upsets and we've even seen two super overs. So, I think it's interesting and I would have expected maybe a little bit better, but I think that there still is a long way to go in the tournament. So we'll see how it progresses as we move along because there is still a lot of cricket to be played. But
Yeah.
yeah, two super overs in what, 10 games when we haven't had it's been like so long since I've properly seen a super over because we haven't had one in the IPL since 2021. So that was really
Yeah.
nice to see.
The USA Pakistan game that was really good.
Probably the
Um
highlight, definitely the highlight of the World Cup so far.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. What do you think about the upsets from the associate nations this World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously going to be a big feature. Like if this World Cup was going to be good, that was going to be like one of the things that made it like an elite level World Cup because of how many associate nations there are in this World Cup. They've obviously expanded it to 20 teams, and we've had a couple
Yeah,
of those. We've had Uganda getting their first win against Papua New Guinea. The big one obviously being USA getting over Pakistan in that super over. We had Canada beating Ireland, and Ireland are like a respected cricketing nation as well. And then we had Afghanistan thrashing New Zealand, not even beating them. They completely like demolished them, and Netherlands almost got the better of
yeah.
Afghanistan on that New York pitch.
Not only like upsets from associate nations, but like the smaller like teams from the proper nations like Afghanistan being New Zealand. That was like they've been playing some really good cricket, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think after many, many years of Afghanistan being hyped up as a dark horse, then this is probably the World Cup where they can actually live up to their name and probably get to the Super 8. They're really well poised at the moment, and I think I would expect them to get to the Super 8 from here. So we'll see how they go on. But
Yeah.
let's get started talking about this New York pitch. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a really good pitch if it were being used in like tests. But I think you if it's like a T20, people expect more like entertainment from the game, and especially if you're trying to promote it in US, you can't really use that kind of pitch for a like a T20 like world tournament. So I mean, I think like that's bad on ICC and the US Cricket Board's part. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I obviously we saw that it was like shipped out from Adelaide as well. That they were like made in Adelaide and they were shipped out to US to be used. And I think that, you know, talking about the World Cup as a whole, I think that it's good that there are like lots of like different types of pitches because I think that's good to see when you have so many matches, so many groups, so many teams. It's good that you have maybe a high scoring pitch in Dallas, pitches in Barbados and Guyana where the spinners are getting um, lots of grip on the surface and the ball's like staying low. And then you have maybe a pitch where it's benefits the seamers. But for this one, it's too much on that side. Like it's benefiting the seamers too much because we've had what, like 70
Yeah.
all out. We've had 100 by the Netherlands being a competitive score, and we're even going to have India, Pakistan on the same pitch. And as you said,
Right.
like one of the main goals of this World Cup is to grow the game in the USA. And I think when you're growing cricket to a new audience, like if you're going to introduce it to a new audience, that audience, the best way to do it is showing them like high scoring games. So like doing it with this type of service, it's not the way to go about it. So there was a statement put out by the ICC where they've recognized it's not a good enough pitch and that they're going to try and work on it. But really, you can't a pitch that bad in this short of a time span where the tournament lasts less than a month. You can't do
Yeah.
much. So we're just gonna have to see how it turns out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, so let's look at like the results. Let's like analyze them critically. So now we left off at like India Ireland. Let's look at some of the fixtures from then. Let's start off with say Australia Oman. What do you think?
Australia, Oman, it was a pretty it was a pretty interesting game
Yeah.
because Oman actually like had lots of pressure on Australia for, I would say probably like 80% of their innings. I didn't actually get to watch this game, but from the highlights I saw and from what the commentators were talking about it, it looked like Oman were getting like lots of good movement off the surface and they were putting pressure on Australia. But the Hulk, Marcus Stoinis, who seems to
Yeah.
always come in clutch for these T20 World Cups, played a really, really entertaining innings, getting them to a respectable total, and they managed to defend it.
Yeah, yeah. But Glenn Maxwell had another disappointing game, continuing his bad form from the IPL. And I mean, yeah, I don't really like it. I really like him as a player, and I hope he starts performing.
Yeah, me too. With Maxwell, it's sort of like this. Whenever he's out of form, then he's so badly out of form, and then it's the other
Yeah,
way around whenever he's in form. So, yeah, we'll see what his progression is like throughout the tournament. After that, we obviously had the big USA Pakistan game.
yeah.
Yeah, lots and lots of talking points there.
I think Pakistan have the ability, like as we saw, like to play really good. I think they just need to come together as a unit if they really want to do well in this World Cup. But I don't know. I think the selection of Azam Khan and I think Mo like Mohammed Amir just needs to, how do I say it? Like he needs a little more time to adjust. I think he was bought in like preemptively. I don't think that was right, but yeah, I think they need to maybe discuss Azam Khan and Mohammed Amir if they really want to perform this World Cup. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Azam Khan, he's been struggling a lot. He had a good like PSL and domestic season, but he has not been performing in the games for Pakistan. So that's a big worry for them that like he's the main wicket keeper, he's the main one of the main like big hitters in their team, and he's really, really struggling. So that's a big issue for them. In terms of Mohammed Amir, I mean, obviously we know what this guy can do. We know how talented he is, and he's been brought back for the World Cup. He actually was bowling well in the death for them against USA, but when it came to that super over, it looked like he and all of the other Pakistan teammates as well, they all just
Yeah,
lost their heads. Like we saw so many misfields and like I saw Amir like shouting at the fielders when the like even the effort was like 1% less. He was just so mad. So I feel like with Pakistan
yeah,
and in that game against USA, I feel like the main difference and the reason they lost was fielding. USA, they had so many good catches, even in the super over, magnificent catch. And Pakistan, they dropped a couple of catches. They were sloppy in the field. So that honestly, it's been the problem with Pakistan for a long time, and again, I think that's what cost them the game.
yeah. And what do you think about the controversy regarding Haris Roth? I think he was like accused of ball tampering and all that.
Really, I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I just found out, but I think he's been accused of ball tampering, and I think that might play a factor in Pakistan's chances for this World Cup. Like we know how important he is for them.
Yeah, well, that doesn't look good. I mean, if behind the scenes there's lots of issues with them, then I can only imagine that it wouldn't have a good effect on their team morale. But we'll see if they can turn it around against India. I mean, it would be like the most Pakistan thing to do for them to somehow lose to India, to USA, and then pull out like just an amazing
Yeah,
performance against India, but we'll see. Anyways, another big game that we had yesterday, Australia, England. Did you catch any of that game?
I did. Yeah, I was watching it live. It was kind of shocking from England, if I'm being honest. I really thought like they had the ability to, I don't know, like re win that game easily, but yeah, I mean, Australia really, really played well. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I was pretty disappointed in their batting. And after the game, I actually saw lots of England fans online, and it was interesting to see that lots of the England batting lineup, they have really, really bad stats in T20 World Cups. And Josh Butler is the
Yeah.
only one who doesn't really have a bad T20 World Cup record. So yeah,
I
that's pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I think the problem, like, I don't really rate Josh Butler as a captain. I don't think he's that good. Like if if Ben Stokes were there, then I think England would have benefited from that. But obviously he's not, and they need to figure out how to really come together as a unit, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and another thing to talk about, Jofra Archer had a great game. Economy of just
Yeah,
4 overs. He's come back
he
well.
was he was bowling really well. I saw it was really phenomenal from him. But you can't really say that about the rest of the bowling unit. Every other bowler got hit. Like Mark Wood was like really awful.
Yeah,
Travis Head, David Warner were like whacking him for sixes all over the park.
yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
were, yeah, he was not bowling well. I mean, one of the boundaries was really short compared to the other one, and
Yeah.
he was not challenging them at all, just letting them hit sixes and fours to that side of the boundary. But
Yeah.
anyways, in terms of the other games, we had Bangladesh beat Sri Lanka in a really close game. Sri Lanka, they look like they're in a lot of trouble. I mean, yeah, they're at the
Yeah.
bottom of the group right now, and it's not looking good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sri Lanka as a team. I think they're one of my favorite batsmen. Um like Pathum Nissanka, I really
Oh
like
yeah,
him.
me
I think
too.
he's good. And then Hasaranga as well. I think he's a really good batsman, but sorry, all-rounder. But I don't know. I think I think it was just bad luck. I think they're a good team and they're gonna win a few games, but I don't see them qualifying, either of them qualifying.
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka, they really are a problematic team right now. They had all those issues with their cricket board last year and
Yeah,
didn't qualify for the 2025 Champions Trophy. And now they're at risk of not even qualifying for well, automatically qualifying for the 2026 T20 World Cup because the top eight from this tournament will automatically qualify for that World Cup. So if they don't make the top eight, which they probably won't, then they're gonna have to either hope that they're the next two best ranked teams on the T20 rankings, or they're gonna have to actually play the qualifiers, which I mean that's gonna like fatigue the players and it's not gonna be very convenient. So yeah, it's not looking good for Sri Lanka.
yeah, yeah. I hope they turn it around though. They've like had some really good teams in the past and they've been really entertaining to watch. Like I remember watching Sangakkara and all those players playing, especially like in the mid 2010s. They were a really exciting team to watch, and I hope they can get back to that level again.
So that should be able, before we end though, we're gonna just go through each of the groups and just discuss how all of them look like. So Group A, first of all, USA are looking great. They could even make the Super 8, which would be incredible for them. They would automatically qualify for the next T20 World Cup if they did. So they're sitting at first. India has one win from one game. No surprises there. Canada has been doing really well again, beating
Yeah.
Ireland. So they're one win from two games. Pakistan, as we said, they lost their first game. We'll see if they bounce back. And then Ireland, really disappointing. Not able to beat Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I expected more from them because cricket's one of the most popular sports there. So I thought they'd have like a better foundation than most of the other teams, but yeah, I guess that's not the case. And teams like the USA and Canada have really overperformed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then in terms of Group B, we have Australia, two wins from two games. They've gotten off to a good start. Scotland, great start. They held their own against England and maybe would have won if not for the rain. Who knows? Yeah,
yeah,
they're sitting in second. Namibia are in third after beating Oman but losing to Scotland. And England are in trouble. You could say they
yeah,
only have 1 point from two games. If another of their games gets rained out, then they're really going to be staring at a group stage exit.
yeah. I really hope they can make a comeback. I think they play who? Oman and Namibia next, right?
Yeah, those are the remaining games. So they should win both of them. But even if they don't, they still might not qualify because Scotland, if they win both their games as well, and
Yeah,
then obviously they'll be out and England will be out. And if Scotland lose to Australia and win the other game, they could
yeah,
still qualify if their net run rate is better than England's.
yeah. Crazy that I picked them to win the World Cup though.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen England come back from worse situations. Like 2019 World Cup, their chances of making the semis were pretty low. And even
Yeah,
2022, they lost to Ireland, but then managed to win it. So we'll see.
yeah. We'll see. Yeah. And then moving on to Group C, we have Afghanistan in first place. They're doing really well. They have like two batsmen in the top five and wicket takers as well. They have Faruqi and Rashid Khan in the top five, and they've been playing phenomenal. They absolutely annihilated New Zealand, which was like a really big achievement for them as a country. And yeah, I think if they win this World Cup, it could be really good for the sport of cricket and of course their country as well. West Indies, obviously, they've been doing really well. They have some good players. Did you see the stadiums that they had in Guyana yesterday with the beaches and everything?
Yeah, I mean, typical West Indies cricket, really. Yeah. It looked like a fun time for the crowd. And yeah, it was just, I mean,
Yeah,
much what I expect from West Indies.
yeah. And the other remaining countries are like Uganda, Papua New Guinea. I mean, I think they're doing just about well as anybody would expect. But a talking point is like New Zealand. I think they might be in some trouble here. Losing to Afghanistan that bad is concerning. And I don't know why they've omitted what's his name? Sorry. Rachin Ravindra from their lineup. And yeah, I think he is a really big game changer for them. What do you think?
Yeah, that's really interesting that they didn't play him. They obviously instead went for Finn Allen and Devin Conway. I mean, fair enough. Finn Allen is like very, very dangerous, but I don't know, on these pitches, it might be smarter to have Ravindra open the batting, but then again, Ravindra and Conway are pretty similar in their approach. So, I mean, I get
Yeah,
why they've removed him, but I would probably still have him in there because of how much of a game changer he can be, as you said. And I think that the game that they have against West Indies, which is this coming Thursday, that's a huge game. If they lose that, then I think it's done for them.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, I didn't have them qualifying, but it'd still be shocking if if they don't put up a fight in the group that they've been given.
Right.
And moving on to Group D, South Africa, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Nepal, Sri Lanka. Any surprises there for you?
Well, we talked about how Sri Lanka have been struggling. I would say, I mean, if Netherlands had beaten South Africa the other day, they almost did. Miller obviously clutched up. But
Yeah,
if they had, the group would have been put like wide open. It would have been super interesting. But because they
yeah,
didn't, I mean, it's kind of looking not that surprising. Obviously, Sri Lanka, we've talked about them. South Africa and Bangladesh at this point in time are favorites to qualify. It would be great to see Netherlands qualify. They are on the rise in world cricket. And I still think they can. They obviously have games left against Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. And yeah, we'll see if they can. I don't know if maybe we can't even use the word upset at this point because they have been on the rise for so long. But we'll see if they can beat those teams and get into the Super 8.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I guess that concludes the video. Hope you've had a good time till now, and see you in the next video.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Our next video will be discussing India versus Pakistan, the big game. So stay tuned for that one. There's gonna be lots to talk about. And make sure you're subscribed. Have a nice one. We'll see you next time.